Dynamic entry. It's me again, back here, and I have one question to ask you. Are you looking for fun? Yes, you. Are you? All right, well, you come to the right place because today I'm going to be giving my review of the new Netflix original show, Cuphead. And Mugman, he's there too. We can't forget him. Where's he at? Finally, we got what we've been asking for, a full-fledged project to flesh out this Cuphead universe on the big screen, or small screen, depending on where you watched it at. I don't judge. But yes, this game came out in 2017, and it was a run-and-gun style multiplayer platformer, and it took the world kind of by storm. It happened naturally, and then it became a big thing, and it's just like, whoa, where did this come from? Originally, it was developed by Studio MDHR, and it took over multiple platforms when it first, was coming into fruition. I believe it was first on Xbox, and then it grew into finally the Switch, and eventually PS4. And it was like, wow, this game is like it's an indie game, and it just came out of nowhere, and people are in love with it, mainly because it's so hard. And games like that always get some sort of cult following, like Dark Souls and Bloodborne. Those games built a reputation on being hard, and that's like the whole thing. It's like, hey, it's so hard, and I'm a glutton for punishment, and I love it. And this came in the way of that, and it was different because it came in such a cute package. We weren't used to seeing something like that. Dark Souls and Bloodborne kind of look the same, the over-the-shoulder RPG style, whatever you have it. This is cute little dudes who are friends, brothers. We weren't too sure at the time, and they're cups, and they just run and gun, and they're shooting these bad guys. And it's different, I guess, because it's captured one part of media that hadn't been captured like that up to this point, I guess. And that world is old-timey animation cartoons, Walt Disney style, Steamboat Willie, Roger Rabbit even. It's all that was combined into this. And if you were a fan of animation of any kind, this game was for you. Me, myself, I try to play it. I'm not very good at it. My friends, we play all the time. Chris, shout out to Chris, my other friend Mike. We would get into this, and I would be carried by them because the weak part of my gaming background is platformers, okay? I didn't grow up with them. I know everyone's like, hey, Mario Brothers and all that. I couldn't afford that, okay? So I couldn't really hone my skills on platforming and all that stuff. So when I play it because it's fun to play with your friends, but also mainly for me, it's just the environment of the entire game itself. I'm enamored by it. It's just these colors, the music, the bosses. It's so fun. And yeah, someone like me who's not even good at the game found a way to enjoy it, and it made me become a fan of it. Every time I saw something Cuphead related, I was like, oh, that's cool. I wish, they would do something with that. Or hey, I need that. I want this. And it's cool to finally have that on screen. And that's right, Netflix has taken the reins on this one, and they've made it into a one season, 12 episode, 15-minute each show. And what was I expecting going into this? I was expecting animation clinic. I was expecting a music clinic. I was expecting a character clinic. I was expecting all these things going into the show. We got the first preview a few months ago, and I was like, damn, this looks really good. It has potential to be one of the ones. It could be the one that everyone's just like, oh my God, this brought back everything that I wanted and needed in animation at this time. And did it succeed? I think in a way, yeah, it did. See, my thing, I was going into it expecting the world from it, and it didn't really give me the world, okay? But it's not to say it was bad. What we got, like I said, were these 15-minute episodes, and there's 12 of them, so you can only do so much within those 15 minutes of 12 episodes. But what they did with them, it was not what I was expecting. I was expecting them to flesh out the story and to make it a big thing following along the games, but it kind of didn't do that. It veered off a little bit. It kind of went more of the route of traditional cartoons. Every episode's different. There are some overarching themes, like Cuphead and Mugman's battle with the devil. There's Dice Man. They all make appearances in the game, so it's cool seeing that. But that was the big, I guess, overarching story for this season was just the devil storyline. Cuphead loses his soul on the first episode in the game of Carnival Skee-Ball. He loses it, and so that's the main thing. So I was expecting more of like a big cohesive story, but what we got in the end was just these little adventures that they went on, and I enjoyed it. And I guess to me, that was my biggest letdown, was that I guess I expected something different, and we got something completely different. So that's not a knock on the show, that's a knock on me and my expectations for this show. I expected too much from it, or I expected something different. That's fine. But what we got instead, I did enjoy. Every episode feels like you're there. It feels like you want to get some, some Whoppers, I guess. I don't know when I think of old-timey cartoons, I think of just like Whoppers, eating some Whoppers and drinking a little root beer or whatever, and just enjoying the cartoons. It brought back that feeling of like, oh, this is like Looney Tunes-esque, Tom and Jerry style, where you're just sitting in front of the TV and you just turn your mind off and you're watching these adventures take place. But the difference here is that the animation is just so top-notch, and that's what I mainly loved about it, was the animation. It lived up to the hype of the game. I was like, okay, if they can do anything just like the game, if anything, they can just bring that game onto the screen. That's all I need. And they did it. They succeeded with that. The animation is just, it's fantastic. The whole entire time, there's like a little film grain. You can kind of see it if you're paying attention to it. So it feels as if you're watching this through old school film, this type camera. And I enjoyed that. They kept that theme, as well as the backgrounds. Each background on the show, they do a really clever job of mixing in like realistic backgrounds. Like, say there's like a real tree behind me, but then there's animation in front of it. They did that. They had a little bit of like claymation, but mainly on like the houses and stuff like that. And Cuphead and Mugman themselves, they look fantastic. Every little scene they do, all the different stills, it feels like old. I'm gonna paint each frame and lay them on top of each other and do them in front of the camera, and that's how I feel like this was did. And I'm not sure if it was the full process, but they fooled me into thinking that's how it was done, and that's how I wanted it done. The music is fantastic too. It feels like you're just in that. And I don't know what it is, but for some reason, every time I hear trumpets with the little brass thing in front of it, I just think of Disney, and they just feel like that's what I felt like watching this. I felt like I was in Disneyland, in the little animation room in town square or whatever, where you go in there, you see the old Mickey Mouse cartoons. That's what it felt like. The music, the do all that stuff. It helped you feel into the mood of Cuphead and that old timiness. Enjoyed it, loved it. The voice acting. I'm not sure if I expected Cuphead and Mugman to sound like this, but after a while, it kind of grew on me. They went with like the little, I guess, New York accent and like, Mugsy, whatever that he calls them, Mugsy. That's the first line I thought of. Yeah, they went with that kind of like Brooklyn style type accent, and I can see that worked for me. In my head, I don't know why, but since we never really got a voice during the cartoon, I mean, not the cartoon, the game, I just thought that Mugman would be kind of silent, maybe like a Phineas and Ferb type deal, but I'm glad that they didn't go that route. I enjoyed them. Pork Rind, he's another fantastic character in this. Dice Man was played by Wayne Brady. The Devil, they all give really fantastic performances, and not to mention, when they sing, they all have fantastic singing voices, and the numbers feel grand, and it feels like an event whenever a song is happening. You're like, okay, yeah, I can see that this is the main focus of the episode. You want it to be the big musical number. Everything was leading up to this. Felt grand, loved it, nailed it. Voices and acting, nailed it. Animation style, nailed it. Backgrounds, nailed it. Music, like I said, nailed it. Yeah, so all that was nailed. The characters themselves, Cuphead and Mugman, I wasn't expecting them to pick Mugman to be the smarter one, I guess. Because every time you think of like the player 2 person, you feel like you're getting like a Luigi to Mario type situation. But no, we got a completely different situation. We got Cuphead being more of like the brave, go for it type, and Mugman was the sane, rational, maybe like Alvin and the Chipmunks. So who's the other one? Alvin, Simon, Theodore. No, Simon. Simon was the smart one. It was like a Simon to Alvin dynamic, and I enjoyed that, because personally I love Mugman because I'm more of a 2-player kind of guy. Mugman, Luigi, all those you know them, you know who the 2 players are, Diddy Kong, all them. I enjoy that they gave him some shine and they fleshed him out to make him more of just, I'm a player too. No, I'm a full-fledged character. I'm smart. I'm helping Cuphead with his adventures, and I'm actually contributing to that dynamic instead of just taking away from the dynamic. So I enjoyed that Cuphead and Mugman being fleshed out the way they were. Elder Kettle, he was cool. He's more of like just the parent, I guess. He is the parent, but he's more of like the Grunkle Stan from Gravity Falls type, where he just comes in every once in a while and he's like, hey boys, you shouldn't do that or whatever, or sometimes, well, you fooled me boys. He played his role just fine. So yeah, overall, the show itself was very enjoyable, but it isn't anything crazy. I expected a bigger storyline. a bigger villain, but really it was just like, you know, Saturday morning cartoons. You're just sitting in front of the TV and you're watching this stuff happen, and you don't have to really focus on it. You can just kind of watch and zone in and out if you need to, and you're still pretty much getting the entire story. So what does this do for the Cuphead, what's it called, property itself? What does this do for the Cuphead property, and does it move the needle forward for them? Yeah, I think so. It's not a bad addition, you know. It's anytime you can make a show and not have it be shit based on a game specifically, or especially, then I think you're doing okay. You know, first season, it ended. There's only 12 episodes, and it ends kind of on a cliffhanger. I do believe it's been confirmed for 48 episodes altogether. So when are we going to get that second half of this season? I'm not sure. So they left it on kind of a cliffhanger. We get Miss Chalice, voiced by Grey Delilah. She's a fantastic voice actress. So, yeah. So far, what we've gotten, does it help Cuphead? Yes, it does. Did I enjoy watching Cuphead? Yes, I did. Would I rewatch it? Probably not. It's a good one-time watch just to kind of see what we're working with here, and I'm glad that they didn't drop the ball and fuck up the Cuphead game itself, the idea of it, and the whole beauty behind Cuphead was that it was kind of a mystery. You don't really know much about these characters in the world outside of the storyline you got in the game. So I'm glad that it didn't ruin the image that we had of Cuphead, and I don't see this ruining the franchise itself. The next season could improve upon this and make it, you know, grow even bigger. So what we got with Cuphead, it's a swell time to have with your buddies, eat some popcorn, watch a few episodes. It was fine. Overall rating out of 10, the season, I'll give it probably like a 7.5, which is not bad. It gives it room for improvement. You know, you don't want to nail it right out the gate because, you know, at that point you got to keep nailing it. So they have room for improvement. It wasn't terrible. It wasn't amazing. It was just right, okay? It was just right. So overall, the Cuphead series, good job. I'm gonna come back and watch the next season. Just not this season again, because I already finished it, and that's all I needed. So yeah, that's my Cuphead review and final thoughts on it. All right, as always, make sure you guys subscribe down below, follow, all that fun stuff. Is that everything I need to say? I think that is everything I need to say. My voice cracked. I need some water. Maybe I should drink it out of my mug, man.